It's very difficult with radiation because you can't see it, you can't smell it, you don't know when it's affected you. And I think I have to start right there, because once I realized that they're not even providing a way to track the potential exposure that we might have, it feels very dismissive. It feels as though we're not just a line item on someone's cost sheet, but that we're actually disposable.
Solidarity forever! Fair contract now! We have the power!
United Airlines flight attendant Sarah Nelson is president of a major union, the Association of Flight Attendants.
No one wants to take responsibility. They're so worried about defining a problem and saying, hey, this could have a major health risk.
She's talking about high-energy rays from space, called cosmic radiation. For years, Nelson's been fighting for 55,000 union members, trying to get the FAA to force airlines to do more.
I went through 7 weeks of flight attendant training. No one mentioned radiation to me.
Many European countries require airlines to protect flight crews from cosmic radiation, but not here in the U.S.
No one seems to care. No one seems to even know.
In a 7-month-long investigation, the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism at Arizona State University and Scripps News uncovered reports, studies, and data that revealed the extent of the risk and the U.S. government's lack of regulation to mitigate it. The CDC says aircrew and passengers are exposed to cosmic ionizing radiation on every flight. It's a risk that compounds over time. The more you fly, the more radiation your body might absorb. In this 2003 FAA report, the agency's own scientists concluded a hypothetical crew flying the New York to Chicago route over 25 years will absorb so much cosmic radiation, an estimated 1 crew member out of every 360 could die from cancer because of on-the-job exposure to radiation. Nearly 2 decades later, another FAA report revealed even more critical information. The 2021 report detailing how much radiation a crew member would absorb flying an international route, like New York to Athens, Greece. The answer? So much they would face an increased risk of fatal cancer of 1 in 190 aircrew members. Still, the FAA has no regulations requiring airlines to protect air crews where planes most frequently fly, even though a report that included authors from the FAA and NASA concluded that air crews are among the most consistently highly exposed individuals of any occupation, more than X-ray technicians, even more than nuclear weapons testers, who are required by law to be trained, monitored, and protected against high-energy radiation.
It's difficult for me to even take into my mind that we are radiation-exposed workers, and we are not even told that.
The FAA told us we are an aviation safety agency and our regulations do not address radiation exposure. It's been 2 decades since the National Academies of Sciences declared in a landmark report that there is no safe dose of this type of radiation. Even at low doses, each exposure increases the risk of cancer.
I'm not a fan of big government regulation, but there are some times when it's necessary. And in my opinion, this is one of them.
Retired Captain Joyce May got her first job as a commercial pilot in 1985. She spent her career calling for the FAA to address the risks from cosmic radiation, especially when radiation spikes during solar storms.
The FAA did not really do what they should have for the airline industry, and pretty much left it up to the airlines themselves and then to the employees, basically. In this case, it's, making sure that people are properly protected, but you can't put a price on that. It's huge.
Yet one federal agency does monitor the hazards from here in Boulder, Colorado. It's where the Howard Center got an inside look at the Space Weather Prediction Center, run by NOAA, the the same agency in charge of the National Weather Service. Here they watch the sun 24/7 and look for signs of rare yet powerful solar storms when the sun blasts radiation toward Earth.
So think of a rubber band that you stretch and you stretch and you stretch. It gets stressed out to the point where eventually it's either going to break or you let it go. In this case, the sun lets it go and its energy flings out.
Sean Dahl is essentially a space weatherman for the federal government, and he is walking us through how scientists here spot high radiation weather. Solar storms can look stunning to the eye and can fill the skies with a display of colors, also known as the northern lights. But their beauty can mask the danger.
That was a huge piece of the sun that just ripped off and shot into space, a coronal mass ejection.
And when they see something like that, NOAA sends out an alert to airlines which can reroute planes to protect flyers. But the airlines don't always do that.
They would make those decisions, but we tell them where the problem's going to be, and then they could avoid it.
One of those alerts caught the attention of former NASA space scientist Kent Tobisca last year, before he boarded a plane from San Francisco to Paris during one of the strongest solar storms of the century. So Tobisca decided to bring on board a dosimeter, a tool that can measure radiation.
I kept nudging Susan in the seat next to me, my wife. I said, "Wow, look at the radiation we're getting on this flight."
By the time Tobisca and his wife landed in Paris, they had each received a dose equal to nearly 4 standard chest x-rays. And it could have been worse.
We were flying at a lower latitude, and we also flew at a lower altitude. And so the gate agent actually told me, he said, well, as a matter of fact, we're going to deviate the route. So instead of going up over Canada, now instead we're going to go across the northern half of the U.S., exit the U.S. out of Boston, then fly across the Atlantic to Paris. It's a little bit longer route, but that's okay.
But even after the alerts, not all flights that weekend changed course. The Howard Center tracked 76 flights on routes that typically travel across the North Polar latitude region. This is marked as Region 1 on the FAA's solar radiation map. The FAA says this region has little to no protection from cosmic radiation. Yet over half the flights still flew right through the high-risk Region 1. We asked 11 airlines why some of their flights did not reroute to lower latitudes. 7 did not reply. Japan Airlines and United promised statements that never came. Virgin Atlantic said, when planning the aircraft route and flight level, the safety and comfort of our customers and crew is always our top priority. American Airlines said during big space weather events like that storm, the airline does not fly planes through what's called the North Polar area, near the very top of the Earth. But in an analysis of publicly available flight tracking data, we found at least 7 American Airlines flights still flew during that storm through a larger region that the FAA says still has little to no protection from cosmic radiation. American Airlines did not respond to follow-up questions about those flights.
It's been left, again, to the industry. It's not fair that one company does it and another one doesn't.
The FAA's hands-off approach has put the U.S. behind many European countries and South Korea. They all require airlines to track radiation doses for cabin crew and make sure no one exceeds annual limits. The European Union even directs member states to require stricter caps for pregnant workers. In the U.S., the CDC and the FAA tell flight crews they can track their radiation doses on their own with an online FAA calculator. The problem? The link has been unavailable. The union president, Sarah Nelson, alerted Congress to that last June.
That link is currently not working. So we're going backwards instead of forwards.
More than half a year after that warning, the link was still down. In an email, the FAA said it's because they're upgrading the tool's infrastructure. There are powerful voices in the airline industry opposed to stronger protections. In 2019, a major trade association, Airlines for America, pushed the FAA to tone down its only active guidance warning airlines and crews about the health risks of cosmic radiation, saying in a legal memo we obtained that the unclear guide could lead to spurious lawsuits. The group declined an interview.
As an astronaut, I was classified as a radiation worker.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly spent 6,000 hours at high altitudes in his previous career as an astronaut and fighter pilot for the Navy.
Everybody had on their person their own radiation monitor. At NASA, we keep track of that. We don't keep track of lifetime radiation limits for airline pilots or for military aviators.
Kelly says a new study ordered by Congress could eventually lead to safety laws.
I could see a world where we would monitor their radiation load that they get over their careers, and you either try to mitigate some of the effects, or you could, limit their exposure.
Safety advocates say there are steps airlines could take. Experts estimate lowering flight altitudes from 41,000 feet to 29,000 could cut radiation exposure in half, but it would burn more fuel and cost airlines more money. Among the safety solutions are innovations like this lightweight fabric that NASA says can block radiation 10 to 25 times better than lead. Airlines could line cabins with the material or outfit crews in protective suits like this one, which costs about $700.
During my 30 years as a flight attendant, seeing flight attendants have cancer at higher rates, this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart. When I think about radiation exposure and I think about what that really breaks down to, it's not just the loss of a pregnancy. It's not just another chemo treatment. It's all the people asking, could I have done something differently? And having to live with that in their lives.